All right, let's get this over. What's good, hooligans? It's your boy Tornado McCray back at it again with another video, and we're 0-2. Panther Nation, we are 0-2. Lost today to the Los Angeles Chargers. Apologies for this video coming up a day later, YouTube issues and things like that. But 0-2. Watch the game, and just a few key takeaways. There's honestly not a lot I can say about this game that hasn't already been said, but there are some things that I differ from the majority of what I've seen in the Panther base. Number one, a lot of the Panther base is drilling Bryce Young right now, saying he's the worst pick. We are so bad. And they're saying this in comparison to, like, look at what Baker Mayfield's doing. Look at what Sam Darnold's doing. Look what CJ Stroud is doing. Here's the key element with that, bro. Y'all notice the key denominator here is none of those other guys play for the Panthers anymore, because the management of the Panthers in this organization is in shambles. We have no direction. It doesn't matter who you bring in. You could bring Tom Brady in his prime right now, Peyton Manning in his prime, whatever quarterback you want. Put them in this offense, put them in this organization right now, and it's not going to work. I'm not saying it's Dave Canales' fault. I'm not saying it's fully Bryce's fault. As a whole, the management and the decisions they're making, the signings they're bringing in and the pieces they're bringing in or getting rid of, for example, getting rid on defense, like getting rid of Burns and Louvu and whatnot, is in shambles. We don't have a foundation. We don't have a culture established. And Bryce Young is taking the unfortunate heat from it. Because today, that man went 18 of 26. Completion-wise, that's actually what I want from him. However, the stats and the numbers, 84 yards, 1 interception, no touchdowns. Yeah, I don't like those numbers, Bryce. In comparison, Aaron Rodgers today went 18 of 30. 175 and 2 TDs. That's the numbers I want from an 18 completion type of day, especially if it's 18 of 26. That's a pretty good day for Bryce considering where he's been at over the last few years. Completions are starting to get consistent, but all those drives we had, we're getting snuffed out. Our run game is not there. Our passing game is short right now. We rushed for only 90 yards and passed, crazy enough, somehow for only 60 some odd yards. I don't get how, considering Bryce has 80 yards, but that's what the numbers and the stats are saying online. So with that being said, I think it's unfair to blame all of this on Bryce. And to add in, we went 1 of 12 on third down, and a lot of those third downs were third and long. Most of you as fans, you want this instant gratification and instant turnaround. And I think that's just because in today's society, a lot of stuff can be instant and turn around. Y'all see what CJ Stroud's doing in Houston. You're like, oh, why can't Bryce do that? Y'all said Bryce was better than CJ, and here we are. I've said it once, I'll say it again. CJ was drafted into a better situation. Had CJ came here and Bryce would have been there, y'all be saying the same thing about Bryce right now. And CJ would be the one looking bad. Y'all sit there and be like, oh, well, Caleb Williams is doing great. Guess what? They built around Caleb Williams. They gave him pieces. That's the reason Chicago's going through something similar. They gave pieces around Caleb Williams. Justin Fields is doing decent out in Pittsburgh, but when he was in Chicago and they didn't give him pieces, y'all were like, oh, Justin Fields is atrocious. Justin Fields is bad. And some of the people who have been saying, well, we had Baker Mayfield and he's doing great. We had Sam Darnold. He won his game today. They no longer play for Carolina. They're in an established culture. They're in an established team. They have pieces. They have a GM and whatnot that's putting the right pieces and the right ideas together to build a team that can win, that can compete. We ain't got that. Let's keep it a buck. We don't got that. Secondly, we're not going to win a game having 9 penalties for 90 yards and the other team has 3 penalties for 15 yards, bro. It's not going to happen. I don't care who you are. It's just not going to happen. As bad as we are, we cannot kill ourselves with this many penalties. We just can't. I'm frustrated because that is a key indicator for any team. Penalties kill you. Penalties take you out of stuff. Hell, Cincinnati lost to Kansas City today because of a penalty right at the end of a game. That defensive pass interference in the Kansas City game, if it doesn't happen, they win. So Carolina, cut down on the penalties, bro. We got to do something there. We suck. We can't also be one of the most penalized teams in the world. It's bad. It's not gonna work. And thirdly, our rush defense has got to get better. I spoke on it earlier. Losing Burns, losing Luvu. This stuff hurts, and that's a GM decision because now you got J.K. Dobbins rushing all over the place. You got the whole Chargers team rushed for 219, bro. 219. They're doing what our offense wants to do, which is establish the run. When you establish the run that well, you don't have to rely on Bryce that much. Justin Herbert today went 14 of 20 for $130. They're not relying on Justin Herbert when the run's that good. It's not going to be great. It's not going to be fantastic. I was hopeful we could win this game. I thought we could win this game. And after the first quarter, I was like, okay, we've been playing bad, but we can get better throughout the game. And we just didn't. Bryce's one interception, yeah, that did not help at all, bro. It didn't. But this game isn't on Bryce's fault. This game isn't entirely on Bryce's shoulders. I'm going to continue to give that man just a tad bit of grace because he was drafted into a bad situation. And the booing at the stadium, bro, fellow Panthers fans, I get you frustrated. I'm frustrated too. But we can't sit here and point all of this at Bryce and just continue the vitriol of bringing Bryce down because he's trying. He's trying. And this is one of those things where the whole basis of our foundation and our culture is what? Keep pounding. And yet y'all want something instantaneous right now. Not everybody, but a lot of you want instantaneous results because you're comparing what other teams are doing and what other teams have, not taking into account that other teams have also gone through hell and building up what they got and doing their best to establish the culture in the right position and get in this position, bro. That's all I gotta say. And truth be told, it wasn't a shocker to me that we lost. I'm disappointed, but not a shocker. Next week, we have the Raiders. I would really like for us to get that first win and just get off the snide, kind of ease the tension because everybody knows winning makes things a little bit easier and a little bit more calm. And I think it would also help Bryce's confidence if he can get that win under his belt. Him and Dave Canales can get on the same page and feel like, okay, now we're building momentum and we're heading in the right direction. But that's all I got to say, guys, because at the end of the day, what do I know? I'm just a skinny brother with two tats. Panther Nation, peace. Much love to all of y'all. Later days.